Hello, Sanford. You are listening to Sanford Sports Radio. I am Jonathan West, and welcome everyone to the Howler. As it's all about what went down last week, a shocking upset as the Sanford Coyotes defeated number 8 in the nation at the time, the Auburn Tigers, in their house. That was a fun one, and this place is still rolling afterwards. They're hosting FAU this week. So it ought to be a very interesting game, to say the least. Recruiting-wise, we're kind of sitting not at a standstill, but there's not a lot of news to talk about. A lot of visits, though, coming in this week. It's very defensively built for visits here for the FAU game. We have Ron Price, Stephen Little. The Payne brothers are set to visit. And from what I've been hearing, next week's matchup, the first MAC conference game of the year against the University of Buffalo, it seems like that matchup is being dedicated to the offensive recruits for the most part. So we'll see a lot of offensive recruits come in for that visit. So that ought to be interesting. I know John Scott has already talked about coming in next week for that game. So the big quarterback is saying he's coming. I wonder if anybody else will be joining him. However, this FAU game holds a lot on the table right now. We'll talk about that more so as this show goes on, of course. But it's quite an interesting game. Fans were screaming for FAU to be on this year's schedule. The coaching staff obliged by working their magic to get this game on the schedule. A lot of people want to see a matchup in particular that we will talk about much later on because, you can't write it any better than this, folks. This matchup with FAU and Sanford, it runs deep since the offseason. But let's talk more about these recruits as we take our time with the show. We got plenty of time this week. As the Payne brothers, it's a very interesting situation. They don't like to leave each other's side. We talked about that. Thought is one will go where the other goes. Jackson was going to come into week 6 and visit no matter what, but there was thought that Xavier Payne might not come with him. That has been changed entirely. Xavier will be joining his brother Jackson. They're both coming in together. But it's interesting enough that would be kind of the first time we'd be hearing anything about these two doing something without the other one. So it's a very interesting situation there between Jackson and Xavier. But nonetheless, it is set. These two will be coming in for this week's matchup. I'm excited to get to talk to some of these recruits. I haven't gotten the chance to talk to any of them yet. So very, very excited to get some words from some of these defenders. Personal favorite of mine is going to be Steve Little and the Payne brothers especially, to get their idea on if they were to go to different schools. That would be a big one to talk about. But Tyrone Justice, the final man to talk about. Justice, the strong safety, is a very talented kid. He was added to the board last week, and it seems like he's starting to get a feel for what the Sanford team might be able to offer. The coaching staff found some tape of this kid and were extremely impressed, and he hopped on their board quickly. So keep in mind, Justice, a guy to watch for. As the MAC players of the week this week are Paul Ingram and Eli Peters. As Peters had a big day against Buffalo, and Ingram has just been having overall an amazing season, which does scare me for the Western Michigan game late in the season. As Western Michigan currently is standing on top of the MAC conference, although Western Michigan and Toledo are the only MAC teams with a conference win right now. So it can go either way at this point. Currently, Sanford stands on top of the east side with 2 victories overall, and of course, no conference games played just yet. But this east portion of the MAC not doing well. Not doing well at all this year. So it's going to be real interesting to watch some of these Eastern MAC conference games. That is for certain. We'll definitely keep an eye on some of them. This week's matchups in the MAC, you've of course got Florida Atlantic in the last non-conference game of the season for Sanford. They'll be coming here to Sanford College. It ought to be a fun one. Ball State faces Ohio in MAC play. You've got the top 2 teams in the MAC currently, Western Michigan and Toledo. Eastern Michigan's going to head to NIU. That ought to be a fun one. New Mexico heads to Buffalo in non-conference play. Central Michigan heads to Kent State in a MAC matchup. And one that a lot of people are putting on their DVR is Akron versus Miami of Ohio. So that one's drawn a lot of interest with the way Miami's played this year. So let's talk about this week's matchup for Sanford, the FAU Owls, Florida Atlantic University. Kirk Herbstreit currently has the Sanford Coyotes to win it, which I don't think many people are that surprised at. This is not as difficult of a test as an Auburn, a UVA, or even a UConn. This is the easy matchup, I would say, on the non-conference schedule. And if they can win this, that's 3 victories in their non-conference, and that would be huge for them. So there's a lot riding on this, in my opinion, because after this game, it's just all MAC conference play. Games get a lot more difficult, so you want to be riding in with some momentum after a big win. So if I'm Coach Wolf, Coach Martin, and Coach Riley, I'm getting the boys pumped up to not only finish off well in non-conference, but just build on something to head through the MAC conference. I mean, it's the easiest way to get things done. As this team hasn't been bad this year, Tanner Patrick having a better start to the season than we're used to seeing. A phenomenal game last week against Auburn. 5 of 5 touchdown to interception ratio. But the key component for Sanford really is this defense has no interceptions, which it's caught me off guard completely. Flash Gibson has been a pick machine, so I don't understand how he has no interceptions, but no interceptions so far for this team this year. And that's got to make quarterback Daniel Parr for FAU pretty happy about facing this team. He doesn't have to worry about getting picked off possibly, as he's got 3-2 touchdown to interception ratio. He's had a solid start to the year, but the FAU Owls like to run a lot with their quarterback, so expect Daniel Parr to take off, and he's got the wheels to do it. You cannot sit back and expect him just to throw all day on you. His top wide receiver when he does throw is Tavares Harrison, and Harrison's a very talented receiver. He's right now only got a total of 92 yards on the season, so he's not a pivotal part of the passing attack just yet. 2 touchdowns so far, which is great for him. He's already got half of the receiving touchdowns he got last year under his belt. But he is averaging 30 yards per game, which at least means he's getting involved. May not be a ton, but he is getting involved every game. And a key component, of course, is he is yet to drop a pass. So he's got the sure hands, so the secondary is going to want to keep in mind Tavares, that is for certain. Now, the defensive part of the ball for this FAU team is where everything comes into play. Shelton Johnson, the right end, is a powerhouse. This man is a monster on that defensive line, so you're definitely going to have to watch him. He's already got 3 sacks on the season. I think that says it all right there. The dude has been a monster. But the man every single Sanford fan is going to be watching is freshman outside linebacker Samson Stratton. And if that name sounds familiar to you folks, well, it should, because he was a recruit, highly recruited by Sanford last season. In the offseason, he decided at the end of the day to sign with FAU and head to Florida Atlantic. Well, now he's got to face the team that really badly wanted to sign him. We'll see if he gets any snaps, so look for that 53 if you're watching on television. And I'll let you know if I see him on the field here on the radio broadcast. But it's going to be a very interesting matchup. This is a team that wants to get back at Stratton for choosing FAU. I can guarantee you of that. Now, the big player in the secondary to watch is Richie Kittles. Kittles is a tough player. He's a very, very good free safety. He's already got 2 pass deflections on the year, and he did have 1 sack last year. They don't normally bring him down to blitz, so you probably won't see that number go very high. But he is a very, very good ball hawk. So Tanner Patrick's going to have to watch out for him, especially when he wants to try and go deep on any opportunities. But that's all the time we've got for this week's edition of the Howler. It's going to be a fun one as we end non-conference play this week against the FAU Owls. Sanford in for a fun one at home. So, folks, we will see you this week. Hello, Sanford. You are listening to Sanford Sports Radio. I am Jonathan West, and it is game day here in the Sanford City Stadium. Hashtag Defend the Den is a go, as the Coyotes are back home wearing their black alternates, blue hats, black tops, blue bottoms. They love to rock these jerseys for kind of the last non-conference game. They love to rock these whenever they're kind of home for a kind of big momentum boost. It's normally never the first jersey we see them wear at home, but it is normally the second, maybe third jersey we'll see them rock. But they're rocking it here against FAU, as it is going to be an interesting matchup between these two teams. That is for certain. It's really an offense that Tanner Patrick would fit perfectly in that he's going up against. So that ought to be an interesting situation. This defense is going to be the thing that's eyed all day long. With the way they performed last week, they have to mirror that performance. As we are off here, Jackson Stone getting us underway. As this is going to be an interesting one, to say the least, and I'm excited as it is FAU football here in the shotgun. Daniel Parr going to take off here, and he's going to go down. No gain as the defense was quickly on top of him. Scott Boyd got there first. 2nd and 10 now as no huddle begins here for the FAU Owls. They're going to go quickly, it looks like, as that's a throw to Wilson, the tight end, and he's going to pick up 8. So they've already gone through the air, and I wasn't expecting that to happen that quickly. This is a rushing offense in FAU. They run with their quarterback in almost an option style, but they go to the air early, and now Kareth White can't find much room there as he's going to lose a yard, and you're not going to find much room with Big Joe Irvin coming down on you. So here comes Tanner Patrick. He had a nearly flawless game last week against Auburn. We'll see if he can add to that as a handoff to start off to Claude Fleming, and he'll go right up the gut for a gain of 13. So it is a good beginning here for Sanford. That is to say the least. They're already nearly in FAU territory as this run is going to get them right past midfield at the 49. They are in Owl territory. 2nd and 9. Patrick dropping back here, and he connects with Rob Thomas. That'll be a 10-yard gain for the junior receiver. As he and Tanner Patrick have really tried to find this sync, and it hasn't been the greatest, but they have been able to sync up every so often. It's worked out for the best. As a gain of 2 here on 1st down for Claude Fleming. 2nd and 8 now as Bradford, the man in motion. Jennings is checked in, and he's got a block from Bradford. Finds a little bit of room. That's going to be a gain of around 4 or 5 yards. Jennings, he's found some room this year, just not the room we've expected. He hasn't really hit that big run. A lot of people, I think, have anticipated as the quarterback takes off. Tanner Patrick getting a 1st down and more there for Sanford on that 3rd down. As 1st and 10, they go to the air, and that is Josh Williams, the true freshman receiver, once again showcasing his talent here. A 20-yard reception. This young man has been extremely big for the Sanford offense. He is arguably the top receiving weapon this team has already into the year. As 1st and goal, it will be a loss of 1 here for Claude Fleming. David Belvin, the man that brought him down. 2nd and goal now, and the shotgun is Patrick. He'll take the snap. Looking to throw, a run out of time, as that's going to be a 9-yard sack for Leighton McCray, as that's a big loss now, sitting at 3rd and goal from around the 13. Patrick to throw to the end zone, And there is a flag on the field as he missed Williams, and it's going to be pass interference on FAU. Look at that. Scott Thurman going to get called on that one. You don't often see that. We've seen some clean games when it comes to pass interference, but there's a call there as the handoff on the 1 yard line goes to Fleming. Touchdown Sanford as they take an early lead here. It's 7-0. The Owls need to make something happen as Park tries to take off, but he is dragged down by Big Joe Irvin. He had 3 sacks last week. Or I'm sorry, no. He had, I believe, maybe 1 sack last week against Auburn. They got a couple in that matchup. But Joe has not been as dominant this season so far as we've expected, as that is a 9-yard gain for Parr on that run. We'll see if he can pick it up here. He's already got 1 on the day. As 3rd and 2, there's a jump here. It looks like this is going to push FAU back as it is a false start. 3rd and 7. As Parr takes the snap out of shotgun, he'll throw to Wilson, and the tight end picks up the first down and more. 14-yard gain for Jacob Wilson, as that is going to give this FAU offense another first down, and Parr's going to take off here on first down. It'll be a gain of 9 brought down by Pat Riley. He was the last line of defense. 2nd and 1 as the no huddle continues. Parr taking off again. He's got some blocks in front of him, and that's going to be an 18-yard gain. This QB rushing attack is working extremely well right now for FAU. 1st and goal with just under 40 seconds. Handoff goes to White, and White's going to have room. That's an 8-yard gain. He was even able to power over a defender or 2. As the no huddle continues, less than 20 seconds to go here in the first quarter of play. It's shotgun formation for FAU as Parr just hands off to Kareth White, and that's going to be an 8-yard gain and enough for the first, but White is down. As that takes us to the end of the first quarter, Sanford is up early 7-0. And it looks like FAU may have lost their running back. So we'll see what happens here in the next quarter of play. You're listening to Sanford Sports Radio. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sanford Sports Radio. I'm Jonathan West. It's 7-0 here as Daniel Parr takes off on 1st and 10. As that's going to be a gain of 8. He's been gaining 8 to 9 yards pretty much consistently here, as they are now inside the 10-yard line. 2nd and 2, Parr looks to throw to the end zone, and it is off the mark big time. That was closer to Gibson than anybody. As 3rd and 2, now Parr can't go anywhere. He is stuffed by Deshaun Hollis. A loss of 4 there, and Parr seems shaken up. That was a big hit, and I think that took something out of Parr, and indeed it did. He's on the turf. As FAU will settle for a field goal, they will be without their starting quarterback, it seems now, for at least a small amount of time. As we'll take you to an update here, as it is a tie ball game with 10 seconds remaining between Florida State, number 7 in the nation, and Maryland. So it's a fun one there. It's been a big game for Davenport, 147 on the day. As 1st and 10 here for Sanford. Out of that full house, it's a throw from Patrick, but it bounces off an FAU defender's intended target was Thomas. As 2nd and 10, handoff goes to Fleming, but he is caught up. Cannot find his way, and that's going to be a big play by Bradley Clement. As that is a big loss there. Only 2, but still, you're looking at 3rd and long now. As Patrick to throw, he's rolling out, trying to extend the play, but he goes down. That drive just was completely dominated by the FAU defense. It was tight coverage. You had a big loss of 2, and now a big sack by Clement, who's the same man who got the tackle for loss on the last play. So Sanford has to boot this one away. As Jean-Paul Valley, the freshman punter, gets it away. Charles is going to have room, and he's up past midfield. And it's going to be an 11-yard return. FAU has a chance to really put themselves in the driver's seat. As Frank now in at quarterback, the backup in now for the injured Daniel Parr. 2nd and 6 after the White 4-yard carry. Frank looks to throw, finds Wilson, and that's going to be a gain of around 5 or 6 yards there. They'll call him about half a yard, maybe a full yard short. 3rd and 1 here as the no-huddle continues. Frank takes the snap. He pitches away to White. White's got room and out of bounds after a gain of 7. Enough for the first there as things continue to go the FAU way. Frank hands off to White, and White's bottled up though to Sean Hollins with a big play there. 2nd and 11 though as Frank takes off. He's got room to run. As White gets the block he needs, and into the end zone goes Frank. Touchdown FAU, and they're going to take their first lead of the day. Well, this is huge, folks. Sanford now trailing for the first time today. They got to respond from that. 1st and 10 out of the shotgun. They're setting up a screen here for Fleming. Block set up. He's got room, and that'll be enough for the first. Gain of 13 there for Claude Fleming on that screen. 1st and 10, Patrick. Gonna hand off as that was a delayed handoff to Claude Fleming, and he's not gonna go anywhere. Clement once again in the backfield. He's been a monster. 2nd and 13, Patrick bounces off a defender. He's got room to run. Looking to make something out of nothing as that is a big 11-yard gain. Nearly enough for the first. As we've got a downed Owl on the field. Hopefully he'll be okay. As Patrick on 3rd and 2. Play action. It's Rob Thomas downfield 27 yards. The play action works out and the big play comes out of it. Thomas hasn't had a ton of yards this year so far, but a big play there as that sets them up in great field position now to continue this drive as a 2-yard gain here for Claude Fleming on 1st down. 2nd and 8, about 2 minutes remains here in this first half, and they'll go back to Fleming on the ground, and look at the running of Fleming, finding room, making a little cut. And he gets 13 yards out of it. 1st and 10 handoff goes to Tyrone Jennings. And he finds some room. An 8-yard gain there. That's one of his better runs of the season. As 2nd and 2 out of the pistol. It's an option kept by Patrick. And that's in the end zone. Touchdown Sanford as Tanner Patrick calls his number there on the option and puts himself in the end zone. There's not only FAU quarterbacks that can run here, folks. The Sanford faithful know that all too well. As Charles to return this one here, as he's got running room into the open field, and he's near midfield at around the 48-yard line. A huge return for FAU with a minute to go here in the half. 1st and 10, Stephen Frank takes the snap. He's looking to run, but he gets dragged down. That, I believe, was Otis Griffin with the sack. 2nd and 15, Frank takes the snap out of shotgun. He's going to run again, but he's dragged down this time. It's Keon Cutler getting his 2nd sack of the season. 3rd and 16 now as Frank looks to throw towards the sideline. It is caught, and that is Tavares Harrison. That's his first catch of the day, and he's already got 22 yards with that grab. He's been averaging 30 a game, and he's nearly got his average right there. 1st and 10 with 35 seconds remaining here in this half. Frank takes the snap, setting up a screen for White, but it is stuffed. That is big Joe Irvin, not allowing that screen to go anywhere. 2nd and 13 now. Frank takes the snap out of the pistol. He'll go to the sideline, nearly intercepted by Dustin Jordan off the hands. That should have been a surefire pick, but it allows for 3rd down now. Man in motion is Wilson, the tight end. Frank sets up another screen for White. This one works a little bit better as he's got room after plowing over a Sanford defender. That's a 19-yard gain and enough for the 1st down. 1st and 10 here for Frank as the no huddle continues. Mitchell gets this completion, and that's going to be a 10-yard reception, enough for the 1st as 12 seconds remain here. 1st and 10, one timeout left for FAU here, 12 seconds in the half. Frank to throw. He connects with James Brunson. An 11-yard touchdown grab. Well, look at this, folks. I want to see those feet in bounds. Did Brunson have a foot in bounds, the question? And it looks like he did. That's a hell of a play. As it is going to be one heave by Tanner Patrick. I'm not sure why they decided to do it as it's picked off by Thurman. And that's unlike this offense to just go with a heave downfield with Tanner Patrick in the ball game. Normally they'll set up a screen or something. It was intended for Josh Williams, so maybe that was the reasoning. But nonetheless, that just seems out of the ordinary for this offense to do even at the end of the half like this. Either way, that'll take us to halftime as it's a Florida Atlantic lead right now. 17-14 over Sanford. Your second half is coming up just after this. You're listening to Sanford Sports Radio. Don't change that dial. Welcome back, everyone, to Sanford Sports Radio. It's the second half of play here in Sanford. The FAU Owls have a 3-point lead, but Claude Fleming around the right side. 20-yard run, and that is what this offense needed to spark them here to begin this second half of play. Fleming with some great blocks up front on that right side, and he gets a big gain out of it. 1st and 10, handoff goes to Dingle on the jet sweep, but it's not working out. That jet sweep just has not worked the way they have wanted it to. It is a loss of 3 for Dingle there, as that'll bring up 2nd and 13. Patrick dropping back, throwing over the middle, and that one's nearly intercepted. Michael Pace had himself a pick, but it didn't come away with it. 3rd and 13 now, as Patrick to throw connects over the middle with Williams. It'll be a much easier punt now, but it won't be a 1st down. As now FAU back on offense, and Franks tries to run, but look who was there, Deshaun Hollis, the big run stuffer. He hasn't been as big of a pass rusher as this coaching staff will have liked, but he has been a huge weapon in the run stuff game. As Frank can't go anywhere, he's dragged down. Guess who, folks? It's Big Joe Irvin. As that is sack number 2. I'm sorry, the sacks I was thinking of last week were Scott Boyd, who was able to pick up his first sack of the year. It's actually Joe Irvin came in to today with no sacks on the season. So he's got 2 sacks already. He's having a nice start to this game. 3rd and 17, and that one nearly getting intercepted by Sam Moore. He had his hands in there, unable to come away with anything. That's going to be a punt now for FAU as they're going to have to boot it. Pat Jackson to return this one as Jackson has running room. He's already past midfield, up past the 40 at around the 38-yard line. That is going to be some great field position. 1st and 10 in the pistol. They're going option in a poor pitch. A poor pitch by Patrick allows for the turnover. That's Bradley Clement that fell on it. He has just been the death sentence for Sanford. As FAU back on offense, they'll go back to the ground game with Kareth White. As a gain of 2 on that one. 2nd and 8, Wilson the man in motion here as the no-huddle continues. Frank looks to throw, and that one's batted away by Dustin Jordan. I thought he might have come away with an interception there too. 3rd and 8, Frank looks to throw. They're setting up another screen for White. Justin Moss slows him down, and a big hit by Flash Gibson will shut that screen down entirely. 4th down upcoming, and that's going to force Stephen Frank and company to walk off the field and bring out the punting unit. It's 1st and 10 now for Sanford as their offense is back out here. They got to make something happen. The handoff goes to Antoine Bradford, and he doesn't go anywhere. Leighton McRae once again with a tackle, and it's just been tough. It's been tough for them right now. They need to find a momentum boost, and this screen might be able to do it, but no, it doesn't go too far. Only 5 yards on the Claude Fleming screen. That's going to bring up 3rd and 7. They got to throw the football. Patrick looks to throw, connects with Patrick Jackson, and that's going to be a 1st down and plenty more as Jackson evades 2 tacklers. 19 yards and a big 1st down for the young receiver. The sophomore makes a big play here, and that is absolutely phenomenal. They need a play like that from him. He's got the speed to make guys miss and the elusiveness, and he showed it there. As Tyrone Jennings checks back in, and he'll take the handoff for a gain of 4 here on 1st down. 2nd and 6 as Fleming gets the handoff again, powers through 1 defender, as that'll be a gain of around 5. It'll be 3rd and 1 coming up here now. High formation play action here for Sanford, as that is Tremaine Dingle, 18 yards. Good throw there by Tanner Patrick. Wide open was Dingle. He could have checked it down to the fullback. Antoine Bradford decides to go to Dingle, and he was wide open. 1st and 10, more play action here as Patrick can't find anybody quick enough. He had Antoine Bradford wide open in the flats, and he should have gone that way. 2nd and 10 with 1:14 left to go here in the 3rd as Fleming takes the handoff, and he'll gain around 7 on that one. It's been a solid day for Claude Fleming so far on the ground, and it looks to just continue. As Patrick to the end zone and gets knocked away. Intended target was Deron Costello, and that was a risky throw nonetheless. As Jackson Stone will just put up a field goal, and he is once again stone cold on his career. It's 17-17, all tied up as Kareth White takes a handoff here for FAU, and that'll be enough for the first, a gain of 11. We'll see how things go here as it is 1st and 10 as this no-huddle continues. Frank taking off, and he's dragged down. That's Scott Boyd who collects another sack. He's having a nice start now, getting these sacks starting to roll for him. The red shirt freshman trying to make his name a lot bigger here. 2nd and 14 as this will be the last play of the 3rd quarter as Frank connects with John Mitchell. That's going to be a 17-yard gain and enough for the first. That will bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter. It's all tied up at 17, folks. Go either way at this point. The final quarter of play is up after this. You're listening to Sanford Sports Radio. Don't turn away. Welcome back, everyone, to Sanford Sports Radio. I am Jonathan West. It's all tied up at 17 apiece as FAU is driving. It's a 2-yard gain here for Stephen Frank as he took off on the option. It's the final quarter of play, and we are underway, and it's going to be very interesting to see if this Sanford defense can hold their own. As Frank takes off once again, and that's going to be enough for the first. Pat Riley brings him down after a gain of 9. 1st and 10 as the no huddle continues. Frank takes the snap, hands off to White. And White's got some room as he puts a stiff arm into Keon Cutler. And that's nearly enough for the first. I'm surprised they didn't give it to him. 2nd and inches as the no huddle continues. Play comes in from the sideline as Frank hands off to White, but down he goes. None other than Deshaun Hollis. He is having a great game. 4 tackles, all for loss today. 3rd and 3. Parr now back in the ball game. Look at this. Daniel Parr has come back in, and it's a 9-yard gain. As we've got somebody else down on the turf, I believe, and indeed it is an FAU out. He is up to his feet, luckily, but it doesn't look good. Charles takes the handoff here, and that'll be a 5-yard gain for James Charles. This FAU offense is getting something going, and this defense needs to put a stop to it quick. 2nd and 5 out of the pistol. Parr. He's gonna roll with the ball again, and that's gonna be a 6-yard gain. Parr continues to be arguably the biggest weapon on this team. 1st and 10. Still in the pistol formation. Parr over the middle, can't connect with his intended target out, falling complete. And 2nd and 10 now, and luckily it gives a chance for a rotation to come in. Parr looks to run. He's pulling off his best Tanner Patrick impersonation. Touchdown FAU as Daniel Parr gets in the end zone. So it's another touchdown for FAU as they'll take back the lead. It's 23-17 as we got an update for you from Miami. It's 31-24 in the 4th quarter. It's a tight one. Good one to watch there with the way Miami and Akron have been playing. First and 10 here. Patrick hands off for Sanford. They have to answer the FAU touchdown. It's a 5-yard gain for Claude Fleming. 2nd and 5 as Patrick out of shotgun. He'll throw to Fleming as a nice juke there by Fleming in the open field. 30, 25 down at the 21. That is the huge play this team needed. They have been looking all day for another big play since that Rob Thomas catch. And that is it. A short check down that turns into one big play after one big move from Claude Fleming. As Tyrone Jennings is checked into the ball game now on 1st down. It's play action. Patrick rolling out, connects with Tremaine Dingle. That'll be a 1st down and more. 16-yard gain. As it's 1st and goal, Jennings still in the ball game, and that's going to go down to the 2. 4-yard gain there for Jennings as it'll be 2nd and goal. And they're going to head into their goal line set. Fleming back in as they go play action. Check down to Bradford, and the fullback powers his way in. It's a tie ball game again. 24-23 currently, but I think Jackson Stone will make his extra point with ease. Call it 24-24 already, as this game is tight with just 4 minutes left to go. First and 10 here for FAU, as that one bounces off the helmet of Sam Moore. Moore's been around 3 different footballs that he could have taken away. He's got to take one of these away. 2nd and 10 now as Daniel Parr looks to throw. He connects with Harrison, but he can't hold on. It falls incomplete. 3rd and 10 now. The crowd here in Sanford going absolutely berserk as White on the screen can't find enough. That's only a gain of 3. This defense holds. 4th and 7. As Patrick Jackson going to get a chance to return here. He's got some blockers in front of him. Some good blocks there as he's past midfield, past the 40, up to around the 36. 34-yard return and great field position for Sanford. They go with their option to Patrick. He's got room up past the first down marker and more, 19 yards. And a big first down into the red zone. This offense has really been feeling it now. As the handoff goes to Josh Williams on the end around, it is a gain of 3. As those end around jet sweeps haven't worked to the best so far for this team. As 2nd and 7, a quick strike to Josh Williams this time. That's a 13-yard gain down to the 1. Williams once again showcasing why he is the top guy here at Sanford. The pitch goes out to Jennings. Touchdown, Sanford! That is another big touchdown on the ground. This time Tyrone Jennings collects it. But nonetheless, it is the lead once again in Sanford's way. As we got another update from Miami, the Red Hawks have won. It is 38-31 your final in Miami. As 1st and 10, Daniel Parr looks to throw deep, and that one nearly intercepted off the hands of Flash Gibson. Every single corner has had a chance. 2nd and 10 here with just over 2 minutes left. Parr goes down. That's Big Joe. Big Joe Irvin, sack number 3 on the day. He came in with none to start the day. He's feeling it. I think this crowd is just lightening him up today. He's feeling the energy of these Sanford fans as they are going wild here on 3rd and 17. And in motion was Wilson as Parr sets the screen for White again. But he goes down. Keon Cutler on the tackle, only a gain of 6. A minute and a half remains. 4th and 10, a minute 11 left on the clock. Parr to throw. He's going downfield, out of bounds. For his intended target was Harrison. Folks, it's Sanford football with a minute 7 left. They need 1 first down. Kill those timeouts. Tyrone Jennings with the handoff, and he's not going to go anywhere. Back to the line. 2nd and 10, they go to Fleming. He's got room and he'll just take off to the end zone. Forget just killing clock. Fleming wants that touchdown. Around the left side and with ease is Sanford now on top by 2 scores. 53 seconds as it is Travaris Harrison with the reception. Well, he hit his average, 13 yards on that reception. 1st and 10, 49 seconds remain as it is White with the handoff, only a gain of 2. They're going to spike it here as that'll make it 3rd and 8. Sanford now just ready to defend here on 3rd and 8. Parr looks to throw. He connects with Travaris Harrison. Travaris Harrison 10 yards on that. And that's going to make it a tight, or that's going to put them into Sanford field position. 1st and 10. Parr to throw as Harrison gets another reception. He is being favored here now late in this ball game. 3rd and 4. 19 seconds remain. Parr takes the snap. Pressure incoming. Down goes Parr, and Big Joe collects 4. He has tied his own school record. As this will be the last play of the game. Down goes Daniel Parr. That's Otis Griffin. And that, folks, will seal this deal. As it is a big victory for Sanford. Claude Fleming will take away the Player of the Game award. 88 yards on 14 carries and 2 touchdowns, not to mention the big run after catch that he had, which really got this team, I think, just motivated. Your final here at Sanford, 38-24. A big home victory as the Den this time is defended. And they get a little bit of retribution on FAU for signing away Samson Stratton from them and making sure that they show that they were the top team for him to go to. Another big win is next week we start MAC conference play, so a lot of big momentum going into the game against Buffalo here at home. So folks, thank you for listening to Sanford Sports Radio. I've been Jonathan West. We will see you next week.